So Don, here we are at the conclusion of the Maritime Air Pollution Conference in the Americas. What for you were the key talking points?
Well, obviously from the exhaust gas cleaning systems point of view, it's good to hear more about what's been happening, the good things and the challenges, and really quite gratifying to see that, you know, several hundred, if not thousands, of ships have had scrubbers installed and are operating rather well. I found the session today, the last session, very exciting. I think this has got to be the future if we believe that, you know, CO2 is a problem. And I think the shipping industry's probably got more potential than virtually any other to get some quick wins and actually fundamentally get some long-term wins, because, you know, the machinery's there, it's all consistent, there's not that much of it, and it's a way, how do we get that energy onto the ship that's not related to a fossil carbon.
And in that concluding session, certainly Claas had to field some very pointed questions.
Well, I think we mustn't forget, you know, our roots and what we're here for, and I do believe that actually I was probably slightly in error. Flag State are responsible for safety of ships. They, to a large extent, pass that on to Claas. Claas employ a lot of very clever people, are reasonably well remunerated for their work, and I feel they have a responsibility to ensure that the safety case takes top priority. And I do feel that more and more they're starting to lose their direction a little bit with marketing, getting involved in studies. Nothing wrong with that, as long as it doesn't detract from having good solid surveyors who've had proper training, if necessary taking assistance from industry who have the expertise as well. If we want to do something in a different way in the future, then we should have an open discussion about that, Edwin, and, you know, maybe put more responsibility on the industry. But that at the moment is not the way it works. It's for the Claas to be responsible ultimately to make sure those ships are safe to go to sea. Another
industry entity that was referenced was the ICS and their calculations, and that certainly generated some interesting views.
Yeah, I mean, the ICS, I believe, are suggesting a $2 a tonne tax on fuel, and yeah, no doubt, because so much fuel is used, that will bring in quite a lot of money, and that money could be used in an effective way to look for solutions. However, I think also there's a behavioural issue here, and that behavioural issue, in my opinion and my experience, will only be changed if there's some sort of rationing of the issue that we are trying to deal with, and that is carbon. So if we ration carbon, we consider it, as Branson said, it's a war, and we need to cut down. If it's rationed, then people start to look for other solutions. If it's not, the pressure's not there. The pressure's not there, and that's the worry.
So if it's a war, who are going to be the victors, and where's the collateral damage?
Well, the victors is going to be mankind, hopefully, unless we're on a totally wrong route here, because I understand that climate change is going to cause even more tornadoes, even more floods, and even more countries inundated. Here in Miami, as you flew in, I saw all those lovely houses with waterfronts. I presume in 10 years' time or so, when the water rises another 500 millimeters, they will not be there. Or maybe their rooftops will be. So I think the victors are everybody, and it's not really anybody to lose. It's just a different way of doing things.
And finally, Don, we're talking at the conclusion of day 2. We can hear people packing up, people having a few meetings in the margins here. But how have you found this year's event?
I've enjoyed it. It was lovely coming out to Miami. The weather's been absolutely superb, including the torrential rain this morning. That was quite interesting. It was almost like somebody had turned a fire hose on the hotel. It was great to meet the people. I had a couple of very nice meals with folk, met a few new people who I shall keep in contact with, and look forward to seeing you guys again in Schiphol.